Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 106th episode of the longest tenured Denver Nuggets spin-off podcast in the world. Welcome to the Denver Nuggets' Serbian Corner. My name is Miroslav Čuk, and before we begin, please let me remind you to like the YouTube video. It helps it get discovered more easily. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel and also the DNVR Nuggets podcast channel so you can make your commute or office/home office work pass by quicker. If you want to support the show more directly, you can become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/MiroslavCuk. I want to thank my newest Patreon supporters, Exquisite Tarantino, whoever that is, and JP. Welcome to the family. The week behind us started with the news that Russell Westbrook will be wearing number 4 for the Nuggets next season, and that Hunter Tyson would change his number from 4 to 5. Harrison Wind also reported that Westbrook inquired about getting number 0 from Christian Braun, and that CB wouldn't let go of it. The internet blew up and totally didn't take things out of proportion. That was followed by Westbrook's social media post that claimed he never asked for number 0 and that both he and Nuggets young star Christian are locked in for next season. Yada yada, damage control, PR stunt, and so on. My takeaway from all this is I'm sick of non-stories taking the central stage in the off-season. I'd rather talk about movies and TV shows or, I don't know, playing trivia games than talk about non-basketball stuff surrounding the league. I hope I'm not alone in that thought, but we'll see pretty quickly as I give you my guests/contestants for today. First, our last week's champion. He won the first 2 games dominantly. Other than that, he is a Nuggets season ticket holder and an indoor bike rider. It's Jeff Scanlon. Welcome back to the show, champ.
Hey, Miro, thanks for having me.
So I love your last name because it reminds me of Skarn for some reason. Scanlon and Skarn are similar to me. And I don't know if you know about Michael Skarn, who is like the alter ego of Michael Scott, the FBI agent in The Office. It doesn't mind. Like there are like 3 people that are going to watch this show and catch that reference. How are you feeling this week? Are you ready to defend your crown?
I'm certainly ready to defend my crown. I'm trying to become a little bit of a man of mystery here, Miro. Last week I was in my home in beautiful Denver, Colorado. This week I'm in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Beautiful state over here, spending some time with my sister. So hopeful to get a win again today, but just happy to be back on.
Yeah, I hope Oklahoma City in Oklahoma is the only Oklahoma City in the world, but who knows? We'll try to figure that out. Next, one of my Denver podcast hosts. What am I reading? One of my Denver hosts from earlier this year, the one who was responsible for me trying Bojo's Pizza and visiting Buffalo Bill's grave. He is an internet troll extraordinaire because he uses solid data to back up his Joel Embiid takes. Calling from the Pat Cave, it's Patrick Rasmussen. Welcome back to the show, Pat.
Great to be back. Thanks for having me.
So, did you do any prep work for this show? Because, you're meeting a couple of really, really good and skilled competitors today.
Well, my default state is anxiety, so I just thought I would let it roll and see what comes out.
Perfect. Last but not least, a guy you've seen many times on this show. He is a doctor of science and master of shooting from a handoff. He is a movie buff who appreciates both Bernardo Bertolucci and Sylvester Stallone. in possibly his last podcast appearance from Lincoln, Nebraska, it's Voja Medic. What up, Voja?
Hey, everyone. How's it going? Thanks for having me, Miro.
So you are leaving Nebraska soon?
Yep.
Do you want to share your future residence?
I'm going. I'm moving to Portland area over there. Got a job, so wife and I are heading out there really soon. So it's my last Nuggets podcast. I got to wear the Blazers colors now. I can't be like a transplant. So
it's fair.
Sorry, I'm kidding. Nuggets tickets already purchased for December 19th. So hopefully I see them win in person at some point.
You're gonna enjoy
Unfairness
Simons for sure. Like he is definitely one of the rising stars. Okay, so guys, as I already mentioned, I was really annoyed by the whole number gate, as Adamares eloquently called it. It is really obvious what happened and what was said afterward to control the PR damage, and yet I didn't need any of it. I can just get the full roster with numbers on the Nuggets socials, and I don't need any explanation about anything. If Joker decides to switch to 14 or 51 or whatever, I wouldn't be interested in why he did it. I just want him and everybody else on the team to play great basketball, and that's it. Am I the old man yelling at clouds here, or do you guys at least partially agree with me? Let's start with Pat.
Oh, it's an absolute non-story. It's right up there with Lonnie Walker IV signing an Exhibit 10 contract with Boston. It's just about nothing.
Yeah, I thought how they reported that one for Lonnie. I thought it was an actual deal that he signed.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Jeff?
I tend to have a little bit of a soft spot for stories like this, mainly just because there's nothing else to talk about. And I think that the issue arises when, much like this one did, when people take things a little bit too seriously. So I can hear a story like this and kind of get a little bit chuckle a little bit and kind of laugh it off. It's when people take it a little bit too seriously that it gets annoying, which it happens every single time one of these stories pops up. But for the most part, no harm, no foul. I'm willing to entertain it at least a little bit, but it's not the most fun story in the world.
Yeah, so I'm just wanted to explain that I'm not bashing my guys who are talking about stuff like this every day because they have 5 shows a week. They have to talk about something in the off season. And by the way, they're doing a great job because they're not using the whole show to talk about, Russell Westbrook's jersey number. They're going to mention it in one segment, and then they'll think of really interesting topic to talk about. But I'm here to laugh at all the stuff around the league right now, and I like the Pat and Voja's comment on Lonnie Walker's contract, because that's actually on my top 5 list of things that annoy me the most in the off season. But before I go to my list and to see what you guys think about it, Pat, do you have something that really annoys you, or several things that really annoy you?
I've definitely got thoughts on this one. I was talking on Twitter recently, I think it was with Grace, about how I have to detach from the offseason in order to live and die by the regular season. So I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. Most of it doesn't seem to matter anyway, because if they make a big move, it's very rare that it affects that next year. It's usually 2 years later. Like KP not getting injured is an exception to that last year. Even KCP leaving Denver has been vastly overblown in my eyes. But there was one thing that definitely caught my eye, and it's because Denver has a storied and sordid history of mediocre ex-ballers hooking up with D-list celebrities. And this includes Monte Morris with Amber Rose, Malik Beasley with Larsa Pippen, Chris Anderson with the entire internet. And recently, it's come to my attention that Torrey Craig and Megan Thee Stallion are hooking up. And I don't listen to pop music or whatever the hell it is that she does, but I hear her name often enough to know that she's at minimum a C-list celebrity, which pretty much disincludes her from this topic of conversation. So I'm going with Lonnie Walker IV signs a Exhibit 10 contract with Boston to try out. Final answer.
So I don't know who that is, the stallion lady. Is she a big enough celebrity to appear on the All-Star game, the celebrity game? No, because
Yeah.
we've seen some
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
big.
She's big enough. She's certainly big enough for that. Yeah.
She's
Yeah,
big enough to
definitely.
show up in a Marvel show on Disney. Like that's
Yeah.
So probably B list.
Yeah, Jeff, do you have something that annoys you, especially these days?
I may have taken this prompt a little bit differently, Miro. I was thinking about the stories from off seasons past that just come and are just become controversies for no particular reason. Probably my favorite one because it's a little bit of Schadenfreude. I took a lot of joy out of this stupid controversy. But when Devin Booker, the video came out of Devin Booker playing pickup basketball and did not want to get double teamed. And so this video surfaces where he is complaining about getting double teamed during pickup basketball. And it became this whole thing where people, part of the internet's like, wow, pretty weak. You don't want to get double teamed. And then the other side's like, well, he's just trying to work on his game and so on and so on. I like, trashing Devin Booker. I like hating on Devin Booker. So for me, it was perfect. I'm like, look at this guy, weak, during off-season training, doesn't want to get it done. And so I particularly found that one very, very interesting. The other one that really sticks with me because of when I became truly a basketball fan was when LeBron James and Chris Bosh joined the Miami Heat with Dwayne Wade. And I was watching SportsCenter every single day, and they had an individual segment. They placed people in Miami and called it the Heat Index. And for an entire summer, we had to sit there and watch people stationed in South Beach talking about the Miami Heat. It fueled my hatred more than I could have ever imagined. I mean, at that point, I don't think I even minded it that much until the attention it brought. So there's a lot more that I've got that I'll kind of mention later, but those are a couple of the ones that really stick with me.
That's a really great one. Voya, I'm gonna let you cook.
Okay, so you really pick me on these shows where it's the topics get the prickly side out of me too much. The one with the numbers gate, I'm not even going to comment. That's very nonsense. Like, who cares who asked and who didn't want to do it. The one I'm like really it's getting on my nerve at this point is the Jason Tatum didn't play in the Olympics.
On my list.
It's fine. There's 12 Hall of Famers on that team. Like, and it's getting to a point where I'm like, I used to be a bigger Celtics fan, like with when they signed Brad Stevens, and it was like a cool thing to watch them rebuild that thing with like draft players and everything. And I'm okay with them, last year winning the title, but it's getting to a point getting a little weird with Jason Tatum. Like, okay, he's not top 3 in the league, and that's okay. Like, why is that why it means like it's either top 3 or he's the worst player in the world, and not playing in the Olympics is it sucks, and I can't imagine it was nice for him, but just blowing out of proportion and talking about like, oh, this player had like Alex Avramovic had many more points than Jason Tatum, and like going like to that extent of just trashing the guy for not playing, and like, oh, he's a good player, and now it's like, oh, he's overrated. It's the dumbest thing I've seen, and it's been propagating like for months. I'm like, okay, I know there's nothing to talk about, but at this point, like, they're still gonna win 60 games next year, most likely, like 55 to 60, possibly more. Like, they lost only 20 games last year. Like, who cares? Like, again, if that, because no one can even like pinpoint that's gonna if they have issues in Boston this year. Oh, it's because they didn't play in the Olympics. Like, it's just nonsense. And I mean, just like these giant like narratives are formed around him as a basketball player. Meanwhile, they won the title as him one of the best players. Yeah, Jaylen Brown won the MVP like of the finals, whatever. Well, like the whole squad, like that was the point of building that team was okay. He's not a top 3 player. Let's build the other guys to like be all like combined top 30. And they made it, and it's like you can win a title that way. You can win a title as the Nuggets, like with Jokic as being the best guy that year, and then Jamal being good. Him not playing in the Olympics is just not. Especially you have Kevin Durant, you have LeBron James, all these really like incredible players. Like, oh, and the funniest thing is like he won the gold last time they played, and and he played in Tokyo. Like, it's the stupidest thing I've seen this summer, and there's been a lot of stupid stuff, and this is by far for me the stupidest.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys not top 5. I lied. I have 6 things on my list because I just couldn't help myself, and we've already talked a bit about some of them. But let's just run through it. So the first thing is, and it's similar to what Jeff mentioned with Devin Booker, is a non-shooter draining threes in an open gym, and think about peak Ben Simmons there. There's a type of player and probably type of NBA agency of guys that actually show these videos every summer to get us excited about them. Is this something that annoys you, or is this something that can help you survive the dry period?
I would say it depends on who's the videos come out about. Is
True.
I just I just saw one of Michael Porter Jr. putting up shots running the court, and I couldn't get more excited. I'm like, this is the content I'm looking for. But yeah, when it's somebody like Michael Porter Jr. shooting threes, right? He's in a gym shooting threes, and nothing looks better than that. I mean, when Ben Simmons is in a gym shooting threes, if I saw DeAndre Jordan practicing his threes, I would roll my eyes. So far, they go back in the back of my head. So it kind of depends on the player. Also, my rooting interest.
By the way, I've seen somebody comment on Twitter, "Oh, I'm not excited about Michael Porter at all. He looks like he is gassed on this video." I'm like, guys, like it's shooting practice. Somebody took a part of like 1 minute of shooting practice and filmed it. Like it might have been the end of it, like after 45 minutes
Probably was.
of running up and down. And it's like I didn't take anything away from that video because it's just shooting practice. Like, what do people think shooting practice looks like? Like he is running around the court and people are passing him the ball in the correct positions, and that's perfectly fine. By the way, I'm not that interested in watching practices on video. I would love to watch it live, by the way. But when I'm at home watching, like nobody wants to see me practice or preparing for the podcast. Like everybody or somebody wants to see the final product. But I digress. The second thing that annoys me is a Woj bomb on which players signed with which shoe company. like yeah. I do care about Jokic's contract with 361 because it was something of a novelty. Like he used to wear Nikes for many years, and I never bought a single one of those because it's just Nike. But when he signed for a unknown company, I was like, no, I wanna have these, and I just want to try them on and see how it feels like shooting and playing in them. And you know what? It's pretty good shoe. Other than that, I don't care who Cooper Flag is gonna.
I was gonna say you don't care about Cooper Flag signing with New Balance, or who he signed with.
Yeah. If we don't have any additional comments on this, another one is a Woj bomb. Or don't get me wrong, I don't have anything against Woj. It's the same with Shams. It's a Woj bomb on which agent change agency. Like what?
Yeah.
Why do I need to know these people's names? And why does a guy with 6 million followers on Twitter tweet about a guy moving from Excel Sports to, I don't know, Clutch or whatever? Like, I don't care, guys. Like, we only care about the Mark Bartelstein guy because he gets hundreds of millions.
Yeah, he's the best.
Dollars. He feels like a lawyer of Larry David, like a guy Larry David would use for a divorce lawyer.
That's like Warren Buffett of basketball. You're right. That's the one name I look. I'm like, Mark again. Like
every time.
It's so funny because the guys he made money for is just unbelievable. Like I still don't. I can't fathom it. Like the Gordon Hayward one was the best one. I think that summer that Plumlee and Joe Harris, I think, like all put together like $400 million or something. Like, I don't know, maybe not 4, maybe, but it was what, 300, like 72 for Joe Harris, like maybe Bertans, and then Hayward had like 120.
Yeah, that's right. It's crazy. So you already mentioned the Exhibit 10 contract. That's not being mentioned in the original tweet, but it's a follow-up 5 minutes later. Like, what are we doing? And then a guy who was barely an all-star in the 90s, bashing the superstars of today on a podcast, or a current star calling the superstars of the 80s and the 90s unskilled. Like, we have too much NBA players and former NBA players talking on podcasts. Like, some of them are really, really entertaining, but I feel like they especially use the off season to just get wild.
Yeah. Not
Yeah,
to
the
sound
problem with this
hypocritical,
one-
but there's too many podcasts, right?
Well, exactly. I was going to say the same thing for you. But the problem with this one is that there's literally these stories every 2 days. Because they can't help themselves from talking about something controversial, right? Because that's the whole point of it. And so I see that, but that wouldn't be a problem if we had one of these a month. The problem is that we have one of these every 2 days.
Yeah, and
So,
it's getting
those get old.
ridiculous because they're like now it's like you see it's not even basically you see them garnish those takes based on they know what's gonna have clicks. So like Patrick Beverly like all of a sudden has takes about WNBA like no he's like oh why Caitlin Clark's not for whatever like I don't know what was it like oh she's like she looks like an average woman or like is built like an average woman so that's why I'm like you've never turned on a game before like you never talked about any of this and now you're gonna comment and especially because it's a dumbass comment and that's gonna get traction and you're gonna get your clicks and your engagement you can sell your advertisement which again is that's also another things like they have millions of dollars on these basketball deals like NBA is ridiculously overpriced as far as like numbers are concerned why do they need like DraftKings to sponsor their podcast like at least do a show if you want to do a show. Like, why does it have to be ad reads like for multi-millionaires? And then you go and like, oh, I'm gonna like trash on or like get a controversial take about Caitlin Clark so I can get some clicks online. Like it's it's weird. Like I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure that all of those multimillionaires are still multimillionaires because
Fair.
some guys can be reckless with the money. So maybe they do need that ad money. Okay, last thing I want to mention before we take a break, it's best teams in 5 years lists. Like guys, nobody knows. Do you remember who was playing for Magic 3 years ago? Like nobody remembers things like that. Like 5 years is just too much. I can live with a year from now, 2 years from now. That's fine. Like we can make some projections and have ideas. But 5 years from now, like, come on. Like, is Wemby gonna be the best player? Who knows? I don't know who is healthy in 5 years. It's just crazy. Okay, let's take the short break and then we'll talk a couple of minutes about Jamal Murray. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we are back. So the only Nuggets related thing I want to talk to you guys about is, are you worried about Jamal still not being extended, even though we know he's been in Denver, and who is a stalker now? We know he's been in Denver for at least a week now. Whoever wants to start on this topic.
I'll go.
Yeah, Patrick, let's go.
I'm definitely nervous that it hasn't happened yet, but I'm in the camp that I'm glad it's taking a while because that indicates that they're likely putting in some protections against injury. And ultimately, I think that's absolutely necessary in the new CBA, with him especially. I mean, when I said earlier the KCP leaving thing wasn't as big of a deal, it's because Jamal is really how we live or die. If he's the right Jamal, we win. If he's not, we don't win. So we need him back, but the threat is very real. So you got to have some sort of injury protection in there.
What can they even look like? That's what's interesting. I mean, I don't even know like what to define like worrying because what are the chances they're not going to reach a deal and he's going to walk? Like that's the part I'm like, it's very drastic. That would be really negligible. As far as people want to trash on him and how he had the summer and injuries and everything like from the Olympics, is still letting him walk or letting him be coming pretty much without an extension during the off season or during the season and just being pissed off and leaving. Because what are you going to get in the other direction? Because you're already in the cap. The signing of a player of a potential caliber that Jamal can be when he's fully healthy, you're not going to get for $10 million a year. So that would be really negligible and really petty from like the front office if they let that happen. As far as like the injury protection, I don't even know how that works. Like, you can't even do that of like, oh, it's not going to be a base. If he gets hurt, like the base salary drops and that cap hits lower, I don't think that's possible either.
No, I think the main thing you do is you incentivize playing a certain amount of games.
Sure.
You get
But
even
then
more
also,
money
like,
that way.
But in that case, like, what does that then do? Like, he forces himself to go
That's right.
65, like the awards, and then you go in the playoffs like even worse. So it's almost, because it's almost like you have to give him Pat Riley and like some weird Miami Heat like boot camp requirements. Like he goes and takes his measurements, like body measurements, and like bullies him, like as Pat Riley does. Like that's the only thing you can think of as far as like, okay, how do you ensure him not getting hurt?
Another thing about that, though, is him playing that amount of games means he's an all-star. So you can make all-star incentives.
Sure.
You can make playoff incentives. The things that normally people have in these contracts. I don't think they should do anything ridiculous like only guarantee 2-3 years and then the rest is on a team contract.
Gotcha.
But
I know what you mean now. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, when Embiid was signing his first big contract, there was a lot of outs effectively where there were partial guaranteed years, I'm fairly certain. I just remember the language of that when that came out was very odd, and I think it had to do a little bit something with what we're talking about. But I do have some concerns. I put myself a little bit in Murray's shoes, and because if we think about where the Nuggets are going to be in the next year, 2 years, 3 years, they need Murray, right? You could build these outs of the contract, but if you're looking to these outs to get out of the contract, then we're already done. And so, from Murray's perspective, you would have to sit there and say, like, well, then why would I sign something like that? You need me, I need you. And so I worry that the length of time it's taking to sign this contract is because the Nuggets are looking for these outs, but Murray's not budging on these outs. And I tend to be a bit more in Tim Connolly's boat when it comes to signing these contracts, which I'm just like, I'm just in favor of giving him the money, giving him the full thing. Because again, if we're looking to get out of this contract, we're past due as it is. So I'm hopeful it resolves soon. It would be nice if we had some incentive-laden contract there. But if I were Murray, I'd probably be holding out for the same thing and saying, "You need me, I need you. Let's do this." Just like we did it last time. So
yeah, exactly. Like unless again, you're right. Like I guess the Nuggets are, because I don't think I don't know if you even sign if it's like, oh, here's less than like the maximum amount of money you are eligible to getting. If they put that in front of him, he's not going to take it. Like, and the other thing is like, can you kind of blame him? Like, no one's going to be like, yeah, give me 60% of what I think I should be getting. And especially looking around the league, you have these people that are getting a lot of money for, and realistically haven't done as much in the playoffs. And that playoffs when he was healthy, I mean, no one can argue that he wasn't like top 15 player in the league. Yeah, he's like paired with Jokic, but still, and as you're saying, like they need him, and he needs the Nuggets for sure. Like he needs Jokic to be successful, but also Nuggets need him to be successful. So it's kind of a stalemate there. And basically, right, like Tim Connolly, she's like, you know what? It's not my job to worry about his game. That's the coach's job or the prep team. Like, here's the contract. Let's get him happy in the gym, and you guys figure out if he can play, kind of thing. Because he's not. I don't think he's to a point where it needs to be bailed on. Like that's. I mean, he's third. Like it's 29. Like it's not even close. No,
27.
27. Yeah. I mean, there's no reason to like penny pinch now. Honestly, like you just give it to him and then that's it. Like you play.
you give it your best shot. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a little prediction here about what happens. I think if we don't get the extension in the first half of next week, which means like up until Wednesday or something like. By the way, this is not sourced at all. I haven't talked to anybody. I'm just spitballing here. I don't think they're making any kind of extension until the training camp starts. And this is why I think so. It's just been enough time for them to reach an agreement right now, which would probably be the highest possible no clauses thing. Because right now, Jamal has a lot of leverage on the Nuggets. It's just like he doesn't need to sign anything yet. But when the training camp starts, there's a risk of injury included every time.
Exactly
so
right.
this is why when the leverage drops, and then they can just be meshed together quicker. And I hope we get an extension around that time. This time, again, not sourced at all. Like it might be done on Sunday for some reason. Like Sunday is the day they wanted to talk and agree on it and ruin Wode's lunch on Sunday, so he had to tweet it. Okay, we will not take a break now. We will start our game show now, and as per usual, this season we'll start with a tiebreaker game. Which just is there for you to loosen up a bit and have a feel on how crazy I am today. So here is the old reliable presentation, and the tiebreaker game in which Jeff starts as a champion from last week is called "Let Me Duck Go That For You." So we used to do the "Let me Google that for you," but then people got too smart about it. They found out how the algorithm works. So I had to I had to move to "Let me Bing that for you." But since nobody's using Bing, that's not nice of me. So DuckDuckGo is the search engine we are using today. And the question I asked, and I ask you to fill in the blanks after my question, is why is Nikola Jokic? So you need to add another word or a couple of words after this. And I have top 4 answers lined up here. If you guess the top one, you'll get 4 points, and you'll get 1 point for the 4th guess. So, Jeff, why is Nikola Jokic ...
I'm curious to see what this search engine becomes 2 weeks from now. I don't know how many you have left. I'll say, why is Nikola Jokic good at basketball? So good.
Yes, why is Nikola Jokic so good is number 2. That's 3 points for Jeff. Why is Nikola Jokic so good? Let's now go to Patrick, because we're using the alphabetical order.
Well, I think the lower and lower we go in these search engines, the worse it's going to get. So I'm going to go with fat. Why is Nikola Jokic fat?
Listen, man, you know how the internet works, and this is a really legit try from you, but it is not on the top 4 results. We go to Voya.
Why is Nikola Jokic tall? I don't know what the search engine is.
Again, a good try, but not on the list. We are back to Jeff.
I'll say, why is Nikola Jokic a Denver Nugget?
Why isn't he a Laker?
Exactly.
Yeah, that actually sounds like something somebody would ask, but it is not on the list. Pat.
Oh my God, I have no idea. Why is Nikola Jokic Serbian?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you can put it like that. Not on the list. Voya.
Why is Nikola Jokic so interested in horses?
Yeah,
that's just search engine.
Too many words. Yeah, I know it's an obscure search engine. Although I do know some guys that only use DuckDuckGo because it's supposed to be really safe and private and stuff like that. Jeff, one more round.
I'll say, why is Nikola Jokic shirtless?
Oh, okay.
That's a good
okay.
one.
Yeah. I mean, it's a private type of search engine, so you're safe asking stuff like that, but it's not on the list. Pat, still
And
number 1.
Just so you know, I would never do this, but DuckDuckGo is the one you want to use if you're streaming sports illegally. Just little FYI for everybody.
Never do that.
Yeah, definitely don't do that.
I'm finally gonna be in the Nuggets market. I can go league pass without.
In Portland for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with why is Nikola Jokic MVP, and hope it's an old one.
Yes. Well, I did try this search about 3 weeks ago when I was assembling these questions, and it is not on the list. Voya, you have a chance to take this game if you get number 1.
Why is Nikola Jokic called Joker?
Yes, that is correct, Voya. That is number 1. Number 1 on the list. You get the tiebreaker, and here is the whole list. Why is Nikola Jokic called the Joker? Why is Nikola Jokic so good? Why is Nikola Jokic out for some reason?
That's probably like if it's out of a game or something, you call that. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, like the Olympics were already over. I don't know. Like, Who knows why these things are like this? Why is Nikola Jokic a unicorn? An interesting question as well. So Voya gets the tiebreaker. In case all three of you get one game apiece, Voya will be a champion. If not, this game does not count for anything. It's just, it is what it is. Okay, let's take a short break and then we'll start the real games. Don't go anywhere. Okay, we are back, and we are back to the old presentation. Voya, you start the game number 1, which is called Guess the Longest Double-Digit Point Streak for the Nuggets players since 2015-2016 season, regular season and playoffs combined. So I'm going to give you 9 guys with the longest streaks of double-digit scoring on the Nuggets, and I'm going to ask you to guess their exact streak. So how does this work? I will ask you, for instance, like how many games in a row did Gary Harris score in double digits? And Voya will try with, 40. And then Jeff will say 30. And then Pat will say either more than both of you, fewer than both of you, or right in the middle. So this is how the game works. So Voya, the first question goes for you, and these 9 guys I'm going to give you in alphabetical order, so it is not like from the least number to the highest number. It's just alphabetical. So Voya, what would be your guess for William Will Barton? What is his streak of double-digit points made games?
I'll go with 35.
35 for you. Jeff, what is your guess?
I'll say 21.
21. Pat, you can guess either of the 3 options.
Yeah, this is tricky because the number I had in my mind was 25, but I doubt it's between those two. So I'm going to go with less than 21.
So 20 or less.
Correct.
Okay. And Pat wins this one because it is exactly 19. 19. So first point for Pat. By the way, great guess by Jeff. 21. So close.
I always like Barton too much, huh?
I guess so.
Not me.
I guess so.
Some would be guessing like 6. Yeah.
So 19 for Barton. Jeff, now it's your guess, and it is Wilson Chandler. Ill Will. What is his streak?
So this is with the Nuggets since Jokic came in.
And only since 2015. So it doesn't count for games before that season.
He started that entire
like in Philadelphia or whatever.
Yeah, he started that entire 2015, 16 season, probably some of the 2016, 17. And he was good. He was really good.
That is true.
And he was consistent. I'm going to go ahead and guess he had one probably pretty similar. I guess 24. 24?
Pat?
Well, my recollection of him is as a scorer, he wasn't very consistent. As a player, he was definitely consistent. So it's definitely going to be lower than that, I think. I'm going to go maybe 18.
18 for you. 1 second. So, Jeff, how much did you say? Sorry,
24.
24 and 18 for Pat. Voya, what is your guess?
So it's either, if it's below 18, Pat, and I go higher, Pat wins. So if I go 17 or lower, or I go 19,
yeah, you can go 17 or lower. You can go between 19 and 23, and you can go 25 or above.
I'll roll the dice. I'll just do 20.
20 for Voya, which means in between.
Yeah.
In between. And the correct answer is 13. So Pat gets this one as well. Only 13 for Ill Will. Yeah, only 13 in a row for Ill Will. Now we are going to Pat. Pat, what is your guess on Danilo Gallinari? By the way, he played for the Nuggets for 2 seasons only next to Nikola Jokic, just like Ill Will.
This is a tough one. He was definitely a more consistent scorer. I still don't think it was very high. I'm going to go with 27.
27. Voya.
I'll go 17.
17. Jeff?
This is very difficult. I clearly thought way too highly of Wilson Chandler. I have to reassess my priors. 17 to 27. I feel like that's the range. I'm going to go in between.
Okay, in between. So I'm going to call that in between. And the right answer is 59.
Wow.
59. So Pat gets this one
God.
as well with 27. Yes, 59 games. Remember this number because it is quite high on this list. Now we are going to Aaron Gordon, and this is a question for Voya.
7.
Aaron Gordon, 7. Okay. Jeff?
I'm going to go 16.
16.
16. Definitely not 60. Definitely.
Okay. Pat?
Oh, man. I thought 7 was actually a pretty close answer, but now I'm kind of double thinking myself. I'm going to go above. What do you say, 16? Yeah.
So 17 or above, right?
I think so, yeah.
And you're right, because it is exactly 17. A great guess from
Nice.
Jeff. Another point for Pat, who is running away with this game. His 4th point in a row here. Now we're going to Jeff's question. And Jeff, your question is Gary Harris.
I feel like I'm getting close. I'm just no points. Gary Harris.
It's a dumb game. But
This is great. No, this is a great game.
No, this is a great game. I love it.
Yeah, Pat loves this game.
I bet.
Gary Harris. I guess for Gary, I'm going to say 18.
18 for Gary. Pat?
So if I were to pick 17, then that means he just has to stay lower than 17.
Yeah, or higher than 18, yes.
Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit lower than that. I'm going to say 13.
13. Okay, Voya?
Above both.
Above both, so 19 or more. And this is the first point for Voya because the correct answer is
32.
25.
25.
Oh, wow.
25 games in a row for Gary Harris. Let me see. Next question is for Pat. Pat. Nikola Jokic.
Definitely going to be way up there. Does this count like if you miss a game for injury?
No.
No.
If he doesn't play, it's
Okay.
not breaking the streak.
You said Gallo was high. I don't know if it's higher than Gallo or less, but I've always really liked the number 43, so I'm going to go with 43.
43. Okay, Voya.
With including playoffs.
Yes.
So last year might have broken that with I can't remember Houston game. Like that might have broken the streak. But those 2021 seasons, I'll go 55.
55. Jeff.
Go higher. Higher than both.
Higher.
Probably correct.
56
so.
or above. And if you believe me, Jeff is right because his number is 155.
Oh, my God.
I
That's-
should have known. But that
That's
year, 21.
you-
The number I
love
was thinking too.
cheaters.
Yeah.
You, Jokic.
That's reaching Alex English levels up there.
155 games in a row. Impressive. Okay, now we're back to Voya with everybody's favorite player, Trey Lyles.
God.
Can you believe he's top 9 in last 9 seasons for guys with the longest double-digit
Damn.
streak? What?
13.
13? Okay, Jeff?
I'm going to say 8.
8. Pat?
I think just for the bid, I'm going to go lower than 8.
Lower
So
than 8. So
7 or lower.
7 or lower, and this time Voya gets it because it is 14. 14.
Oof.
Just missed it by 1, but still a point for Voya. So now Pat has 4 points, Voya has 2, and Jeff has 1. So Voya can still catch Pat in this game. And this question goes to Jeff. Jamal Murray.
I think it's going to be pretty high. Especially with the playoffs. I mean, he might have had a bad game or two in there, so maybe not including the playoffs. I'm going to go ahead and say for him, it is 51.
51. Pat?
Well, like I said earlier, I like the number 43. It's my second favorite number to 33, but I think it's more than that. So 43.
43. Voya?
Above.
Above both. So
Yeah.
52 or more. And the winner is Pat, because the right number is 38.
Maybe he shouldn't get a max. My God.
38 games for Jamal Murray. So a lot lower than Danilo Gallinari's
Wow.
59. Okay, and last question goes to Pat. Pat, Michael Porter Jr.
This one could be deceptively low. I'm going to say, in honor of Jokic, I'm going to say 15.
15. Voya?
6.
6. Oh my goodness. Jeff?
Such little faith, I feel like. I'm going to go 16 or higher.
16 or higher. And you are right, because we are all Michael Porter haters here. It's 42. It's 42, higher than Jamal Murray's 38.
I feel like he doesn't get. I feel like he always doesn't get a ball in one of those games and just stops it.
Yeah, exactly.
I am guessing this streak happened in his
21.
sophomore season.
No, I think it's 21 when Jamal got hurt. That might have been
my
playoffs.
Yeah, but
Yeah, he had a great season.
yeah, you mean playoffs plus those 9 games and stuff like that. Yeah, you might be right. You
That's
might be
half
right
a season,
about
basically.
that. Yeah. So 42 games in a row for Michael Porter.
I think he averaged averaged 21 and in that back end of the season, 23 or something since Jamal got hurt. So that might have been it.
That is true. It's possible. I didn't check when.
You got to hand in my Michael Porter card.
Yes.
Love you, Mike.
Congrats to Pat for winning game number 1. Voya is still the winner of the tiebreaker game. We are taking one short break, and then we'll go to game number 2, which is, if you believe me, crazier than this one. Don't go anywhere. We are back, and per usual, I forgot to show you the full list from the previous game. So Nikola Jokic 155, Danilo Gallinari 59, Michael Porter 42, Jamal Murray 38, and so on. Game number 2 is for Pat. Pat is starting it, and the question here is: what is the highest scoring quarter by a Denver Nuggets player since 2015-2016 season, regular season or playoffs? So, Pat, you are trying to guess the exact highest scoring quarter of the next 9 guys on the list. And these are, of course, the top 9 guys on the list in alphabetical order again, so you cannot take any trends into account. So, Pat, what do you think is DJ Augustine's highest scoring game?
I'm actually surprised that Vashawn Leonard isn't on this, because I remember he got 27 in a quarter, but that must have been before Jokic.
Yeah, it was previous. Yeah, it was before.
So Augustine, most in a quarter. He could get hot. He was very streaky. I'm going to go with 19.
19. Okay, Voya, what is your guess?
I'll go.
I believe this is only 15-16 season.
15-16 season. I got to go with 15, I guess.
15. Jeff?
I'm going to say higher.
Higher, so that's
Higher than
20
It's like
or
21.
more. And you are right. 22 is correct answer. So first point goes to Jeff. Voya.
It's crazy.
Will Barton.
Oh.
Or as he was called in CSK Moscow, Will Barton.
God, what was his? I'll go with 19.
19 for Will Barton. Jeff?
I bet he had something kind of similar to DJ Augustine. I'll say he had the same. What was it, 22? I'll just guess 22.
22. Pat?
Well, my third favorite number is 23, so I'll go with 23.
23. So higher than 22. And the correct answer is 18. So Voya gets this one 18 points, really close to the actual number. Jeff, your guess is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
And this is KCP while he was with the Nuggets.
Yes, only 2 seasons with the Nuggets, highest scoring quarter.
Oh, we should know this.
I will go 16.
16. Pat.
Yeah, I think it was right around there. I never do even numbers, so I'm going to go 19.
19. Yeah, you agree with me that even numbers are evil. Okay, Voya?
Yeah, that's a good
16,
guess. 'Cause it might
19?
have been. So it's 16 and 19?
Yes.
I'll go between.
In between. Okay, so 17
Evil.
or 18. 17 or 18. And the right answer is 17. So Voya gets this one as well. By the way, guys,
5 threes
you
and
are,
a 2. Like,
you are incredible in this game.
I was thinking 5 threes and a 2, but maybe a missed free throw. Like
Incredible job. Okay, we are back to Pat. Pat. Danilo Gallinari.
It's got to be in the 20s, but probably low 20s. I'm going to go 23 again.
23. Voya?
what was Gallinari's outburst? Actually, I'll go 25.
25. Jeff?
I just have the feeling like he was more steady than he was explosive. I'm going to go less than both guesses.
That's not a bad guess.
So 22 or less.
I mean, it's also
And you are
22,
correct.
yeah.
22 exactly on the nose. So another point for Jeff. By the way, guys, you are
We're
crushing
circling.
this game.
We're circling.
You're really close every time. Okay,
It's different than when you give us the entire NBA guess from.
It is.
And
It
it's
is
like
true.
15 to 30.
This list is a bit more narrow than the other ones
Yeah.
because it's not like anybody's going to get 40 points in a quarter.
Yeah. Also, we know it's not 37. So
Yeah. It's not Klay Thompson. Okay, next guess goes to Voya. Voya, Gary Harris.
oh, Gary. 16.
16. Jeff?
It's got to be right there. I'm sorry, boy. I'm going to say 17.
Oh, you're fine.
17. Okay, that's actually a good strategy because you are not letting Pat take the middle portion.
But I might just get pinched right
two
at
options.
17.
Yeah.
Though I wouldn't have because it's an even number. So
That's true. So
I'm going to go above that.
above that. So 18 or more. Matter of
Correct.
fact, 20. So that's the first point for Pat. 20 points for Gary Harris in his strongest quarter on the Nuggets. Now we are back to Jeff. Jeff, Nikola Jokic.
This is a fun one. It's above. I don't know. I'm not going
I think we should know this, and I didn't. So I'm not blaming you guys.
I don't know the specific number. I know it's not crazy high. But I think I have a pretty good idea right around where it is. I'm going to say 24.
24. Pat?
Got to go higher. Oh, yeah, I have to pick a number, don't I? By
Yes,
exactly 25.
25. An odd number. Voya.
Higher.
Higher. 26 or more. And Jeff actually nailed it with 24.
And, yeah.
Great job. And I feel like Voya knew that was the correct answer as soon as Jeff
The
said
New
it.
Orleans
Okay.
game came to mind, but I think he scored 11 in the overtime.
Yeah, a lot in
and
the overtime. But
there was the
was
first
low
quarter. I
20s.
think he nailed a lot of points in one of the first quarters.
There was a Clippers game, too.
I'm not doing the fourth quarter plus first overtime or stuff like that.
Yeah.
These are just
Well,
clean.
that's why I was counting. I know it was 30 with overtime, so it was like 20 something. Yeah. Which game was it? Do you have the game?
I don't have the list in front of me, so I would need to check that. Pat, Emmanuel Mudiay.
Well, as the only Moutier respecter in the entire universe, I know exactly which game this was. It was in Boston, in the Boston Garden.
Jesus.
I don't know the number though. I think it was
Thank God.
around 21, and I think he finished with like 31. So it was just really one quarter.
Okay,
Something like
21. 21 for you, Voya.
I'll go less. Oh, sorry, less. I guess 20. I guess I don't know.
20. Okay, Jeff.
Oh no. I'm gonna, as just a not a Moutier respecter, I'm gonna say 19 and less.
So 19 or less.
Mhm.
Pat wins it because it's actually 24, exactly the same like Nikola Jokic. So that is now Pat has 2 points, Jeff has 3 points, and Voya has 2. This is really close. Voya, your question is Jamal Murray.
27.
27.
Should know.
Jeff?
What's his number?
I think it's more than Jokic, but not by much. I'm gonna say 25.
25.
Hmm.
Pat?
This is really tough. Shoot. I think it's higher. I'm gonna go with above 27.
Is it 21?
So 28 or more. Okay.
Correct.
And the correct answer is 23. So Jeff gets this one, 23 points.
Wins the game.
Jeff has 4 points. Pat has 2, and Voya has 2. But still, we have one more question, and the question goes to Jeff. Jeff, Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah. No chance he's up. He's probably close to 20. He might have hit 20. I'll go ahead and say MPJ has had a 20-point quarter.
20. Pat?
Again, I think it's right around there. I'm gonna go 21.
An odd number. Voya.
I'm trying to remember that Portland game because he had over 20, but I think it was I know halves for these guys.
He had that good first quarter, right?
Yeah, but I think he scored like a 3 or something in the second. So I'll go less than both of you guys. If he scored like 19 and then scored a 3 in the second quarter, like that'll be maybe
19 or less is your guess. And Pat gets this one as well because it's 22. 22 points for
I guess that was the Portland game then.
And then
Michael
yeah.
Porter. So
I think he had
Jeff,
7.
Jeff wins game number 2. So right now we have Jeff and Pat winning a game each, and Voya winning a tiebreaker. So the last game is gonna decide who is the winner, and we're going right into it because we have no more ad breaks. And game number 3. Oh, let me just show you the list, which I
We
always
need
forget.
something higher.
Yeah,
So,
we were
This is
close
really
to
interesting
enough,
that
yeah.
Emmanuel Moutier has the highest total next to Nikola Jokic. But I guess he was shooting a lot in those 2.5 seasons, I believe, actually, on the Nuggets because before he got traded away.
Is it
So,
Knicks? Where did he got traded?
Knicks, that is correct. Knicks, yes. So Jeff is the winner of game number 2. He starts game number 3, and the game number 3 is, of course, can I have your full name, sir/madam? What we do in this game, and I know you guys know it, but I'm going to explain to somebody watching this for the first time. I'm looking for a 3-part full name that is assembled with the first name of the first person. Then the middle name is the mashup between the last name of the first person and first name of the second person. And the third name is the last name of the second person. To explain it more plastically, if I ask you who the first person is, the first guy that got paid playing next to Nikola Jokic, and the second guy is the most handsome non-Miroslav on the NVR Nuggets podcast, your answer would be Gary Harrison Wind. Okay, so Jeff, first combination goes to you. First clue. The first person is a former NBA player born in 1977. The second person is the son of a former NBA coach.
Do we? Is that last week?
We did have this sort of clue last week and 2 weeks ago as well.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't know if you were reusing.
No.
It was very, very
I
similar.
don't look
yeah,
like
but,
I know what I'm doing, but I actually have this under control for now.
I don't think I stand a chance. I'll go ahead and pass, Miro.
Okay, Pat.
Yeah, I'm definitely passing. That's the year I was born, so I should know a little bit better, but more information needed.
Okay, Voya.
Yeah, I guess I'll pass too. Yeah.
Okay, Jeff. Second clue should be a bit easier now. The first person is a two-time NBA All-Star that played his last 9 seasons in China. The second person spent 10 seasons as an NBA assistant coach in Washington and Minnesota before getting his first head coaching gig with the Timberwolves.
Damn.
So think about the two-time All-Star
I know.
that spent 9 years in China.
I have somebody in mind, but it doesn't align with the name. I'm going to go ahead and pass.
Pat?
Yeah, I think I know the first one, but that second one's stumping me altogether. I got to pass.
Well,
Stephon Marbury, Ryan Saunders.
that is correct. Stephon Marbury, Ryan Saunders is the correct combination. Voya gets his point in this game. So we are now moving to the second combination for Pat. Are you ready, Pat?
I am ready.
Let me just put here that Voya got it in case I forget. Okay. So, second combination for you, Pat. The first person is an NBA player born in 1988. The second person was born in 1265 in Florence, Italy. I'm sorry. I know these are getting crazier every week.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pass.
Voya?
I'll pass.
Jeff?
I'll pass.
Okay. Second clue for Pat. The first person played for 7 different teams before winning an NBA championship with his current one. The second person was a poet known for his masterpiece, Divine Comedy.
Oh my goodness, I know the second one.
Yeah.
That first one is very broad. No idea. Gotta pass.
Voya?
Before winning
An NBA championship with his current one. So he is still an
not
NBA
a first
player?
championship.
Yes. Got his first NBA championship. With the current team.
Played for 7 different teams. DeAndre Jordan Alighieri.
That is correct. DeAndre Jordan
Wow.
Alighieri. Look at this tandem. They look like a great pick and roll tandem. Yes, great guess by Voya. DeAndre Jordan Alighieri. In case you needed a third clue, the third clue would be the first person air kisses Nikola Jokic on the cheek 3 times before every game. And the second person shares the first name with the Dallas Maverick. Exum, my favorite
This is
player.
probably sad. The final clue would not have helped me with the poet. It's a gap, clearly.
Okay, so that's the second point for Voya in this game, and we have only one more combination, and it goes to Voya. Voya. The first person was an NBA second-round pick a year ago. The second person is a former NBA player born in 1982.
Oh, pass. Come on.
Okay, Jeff?
Hunter Tyson Chandler?
Oh, that's incredible.
Goodness
Oh my
gracious.
goodness! Oh my goodness.
That should be worth 2 points, I think.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh
What,
man.
too
That
late.
is
Too late.
incredible. I remember, by the way, this is how old I am. I remember playing NBA 2K and thinking, oh my God, Tyson Chandler is born in 82. He's so young. Like, can you believe somebody born in 1982 is already in the NBA? But yes, that is correct. Great guess by Jeff. The second clue was the first person studied at Clemson for 5 years. The second person played for 19 NBA seasons, and his teammates were James Harden, Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Dirk Nowitzki, Carmelo Anthony, and Chris Paul. And the last clue was the first person made it known that he wouldn't feel hunted in a battle versus a bear. And the second person's last name is the same as the first name of the Friends character played by the late Matthew Perry. Hunter Tyson Chandler. Guys, another great show. Another. I'm speechless. By the way, you guys played it. Voya won the game number 3. And since everybody has one game and Voya has the tiebreaker, Voya is the champion of this week. So, my usual question: do you think you can come back next week and defend your throne?
Saturday?
Yes, next Saturday.
Probably yes.
Probably yes. I'm gonna put you in as a
Unless
possible.
unless they're sending me out next weekend to like go somewhere else for job, I will probably be there.
Okay, we'll talk during the week to make a date. Any closing thoughts before we go, guys?
I got a couple of plugs I gotta make if you don't mind.
Of course.
First thing is I've been working on a cover album for the band Morphine, which was a trio from Boston in the 90s consisting of Mark Sandman, who played 2-string slide bass and vocals, and then Dana Colley, who played baritone saxophone. And then they had 2 different drummers who played cocktail drums. So it's a very unique and different sound. I'm working on them. I'm nearly done with them, so they'll be out probably in late fall or early winter. You can access them from my Twitter page, so just follow me there. And the other plug is follow Billsy and Ball Ball on Twitter, because he's the only extraterrestrial in Nuggets universe, and representation matters.
Please put that handle in a comment under the tweet I'm going to announce this show with, so everybody could get the right handle there. Any parting thoughts from you, Jeff?
Yeah, no, it's great to be back on. I appreciate getting a chance to defend the title.
We're gonna see you in a couple of weeks when the semifinals start. And what do you know, guys? We have the 6th different champion of Nuggets Trivia. It's a complete parody time on Serbian Corners
Like the NBA.
game show. Nobody was able to defend the throne so far. We have 3 more qualification round shows left, and then we'll go straight into semifinals and then the grand final that will be, I believe, on October 31st, something like that. Basically a day before game number 1 for the Denver Nuggets of the regular season. So we're gonna cruise through this off season playing wacky games. Voya, any parting thoughts?
No, thanks for having me. Great to be here. Great game, guys. This was fun.
Congrats.
Incredible showing from all 3 of you. And that's all I've prepared for this show, my dear listener. And please, for the love of God, take the word prepared very loosely. Be well, be safe, be kind to everybody. Call your mom. And until next week, Tyler Lydon.